To hear us, okay?
Yeah, got you, Danny.
Just hold on, let me turn the volume up on here.
Like Larry King live or something.
Yeah, Rory, over to you. Hopefully you can hear us. You can crack on.
Yeah, thank you.
Questions on the chat. Thank you.
Got you. Thanks, Graham. Listen, you're fighting to save this game, and you've got a bunch of injuries knocking around in the dressing room. Yeah. Can you just give us a heads up? Do you feel like your team is in a physical condition to take the fight tomorrow?
Yes, I do. We've obviously got some blows to some fingers, which I'm sure the lads will take whatever they need to take to get themselves in a position where they're capable of performing tomorrow. So they'll all bat, and they will do their very best. I know that.
In terms of this series, is this the last stand for a couple of the guys potentially if the news comes back not very well from the scans and the X-rays? Could the guys be sort of looking to make their last mark on this series?
It's possible in terms of assessing all that at the end of the game, which will have to be done. Obviously, Sam Billings has been called into the group, as you're aware. So I mean that's a good indicator, obviously, of some of the concerns with the injuries.
And obviously, you've attempted this once before in this series in Adelaide. It was a bit of a day 5 rescue job. Having come close and fallen short, will that provide the right kind of reminder of how hard it's going to be tomorrow?
Yes, yeah. I mean, obviously, with some of the injuries which we've got as well, we're going to need whether it's 2, 3, or 4 of our players to really stand up and bat for a long time and put and what I want to see is us play positively, so have a good mental approach to it. I thought tonight our approach from Zach and Haas was very good. I thought they moved well. They had to be in the field obviously for a long time. It was hot today. Thought they actually moved well. You could see their intent, defending well, and being able to put. I thought Zach put the ball which came along to actually score off, and that's important. The scoring runs is important for your confidence, even when you're actually trying to play for a draw as well. So in a way, I mean, each individual can assess how they play. Obviously, you saw how Joss went about it in Adelaide. I still like people to be positive in the way they're thinking and the ability to score runs as well. It puts you in a better place. But I suppose it's little blocks of time as well tomorrow. 10 overs each. Trying to work together. As sort of partnerships. And I was pleased with the way they went about it tonight. It's been challenging for some of them technically and mentally. And the biggest thing really for some of these players, and I said at the beginning, some players younger players are trying to establish themselves and own a place in the team, and they got opportunities tomorrow to do that. And also, I said at the beginning of the week that for players to be able to stay in the team as well, you have to perform. And Johnny played fantastically well, winning with great courage and skill. And so that's the same thing which we want to see again in our second innings. And I thought it was a good start tonight, but we need a hell of a lot more of it again tomorrow.
Cheers, thanks.
Okay, let's go John Etheridge, please.
Hi, Graham. How do you think Ollie Pope did behind the stumps today?
Well, it's a bit like being a goalkeeper. If you don't really notice them, that means that they've done very well. So I was, and I sort of, after a while, realised that it was Ollie Pope back out there again. Keeping wicket, so I thought he did fantastically well. He really did.
What would obviously there's 2 days away, but if neither Butler nor Bairstow can keep wicket in Hobart, would your instinct be go with Pope to keep wicket or Billings?
Well, it gives us certainly gives us options, and I think that's the thing probably at the end of the game, which we have to be able to assess. Potentially who is going to be available out of some of those injuries which we've got, and then also coming up with lineup as a obviously, Stokes' injury is not a great one, obviously being an all-rounder. So we'll have to see generally what we can do with that situation.
So, yeah, I mean, could Stokes play as a specialist batsman?
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. I think like everything, once the game is finished, sometimes the adrenaline running through the body when you're out there can actually assist you. And then probably there are times when you have to assess the whole injury going into a fresh game as well. So that'll be the thing which we'll have to do at the end of the game.
Oh, thanks. Cheers, Graham. Thanks.
Let's go Ben Horn, Dean Wilson, please.
Hey, Graham, I was just wondering what you made of Usman Khawaja's performance in this match, and would you be surprised if Australia don't find a spot for him somewhere in their team for the next test?
Yeah, very. I mean, obviously, I knew again when I was here at New South Wales years ago. So I'm, it's sort of one of them. Yeah, happy for him. Obviously, would like to have been against different opposition, but I thought he played very well. He's made it very difficult for Australia to leave him out. He looked, I would say this, a better player than probably when he last played for Australia. And not a bad one to have coming into your team. So good for him, annoying for us.
Let's go, Dean, please.
Yeah, Graham, you were talking a little bit about how the batsmen fared so far and how they're kind of learning about cricket out here. I just wondered what you thought the players might have learned from a day in the field like that today, and just how hard was it kind of physically and psychologically when a team is kind of really on top of you like that, even though I guess you had some success the day before?
Yeah, that's right. Very tough. I mean, all I can say is at the beginning of the week, we said, let's try and show a good attitude. Let's keep trying to turn up. Test cricket is hard sometimes. And you need individuals. And I thought our bowlers kept going. Mark Wood, Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad kept running in really hard. For us throughout the match. I mean, Mark Wood's been incredibly unlucky at times. I thought he's bowled fantastically well on this trip. Good for Jack Leach as well, just to pick up 3 wickets for himself. Again, been tough, and he's trying to constantly work at drops the ball at pace. But this is the harsh end of the game, and our batters have also seen that as well. Tomorrow is another opportunity. I thought I was pleased with the way they played tonight. They showed positive, they moved well, and we need lots more of it tomorrow. We're going to need a couple of really big partnerships. But I believe that they're capable of doing it. And I do believe that some of these players, the younger players in this team, will have very good and long test careers. But they have to be able to front up and accept some of the failings, whether that either be technically or mentally, periods on this tour. But I know that they're trying to correct it. And I'm hoping that some of these younger guys will be far better players down the line with their awareness, their smartness. Decision making is absolutely key. Everyone goes on about technique, but you've got to make good decisions constantly when you're out in the middle. And that requires a good temperament. And that's what players are always being assessed on, whether they're going to be good enough to do that down the line.
Thanks, Graham.
Okay, we'll finish with Scott Bailey and then Chris Stocks, please.
Yeah, Graham, I know Joe said all the captaincy talk and whatnot to play one for after the tour, but Ricky Ponting made some comments today in commentary. Firstly, he felt that Joe should step aside, but secondly, thought that in his batting, both this test and in Melbourne, he's looked like he's been sort of tired or worn down by the difficulties associated with captaining this tour. I just wanted your thoughts on those comments.
Yeah, well, I certainly believe some of the, we've talked about some of the distractions off the field, which we've had to deal with. It's also tough when your team has not played well enough and you've not scored enough runs, more importantly. I think Stuart said it the other night. If you don't get enough runs, you can sort of pick whoever you want. You want to get team selection right. But, we haven't put enough runs on the board. We fought really hard. It was a brilliant innings, I thought, from Johnny. And great courage again from Ben Stokes as well, with the injury he had. So we showed some determination yesterday, sort of the way which you can perform. And actually, if you can push Australia onto the back foot a little bit, it shows what you're capable of doing. And to get through a little bit of the new ball, we've got to get through it again tomorrow. The odd one is kicking up off a length, so we've kind of got to have a guy's clear mind. That's going to happen from time to time, and if you're unlucky, you're unlucky. But Zach got a little bit of luck tonight when it went over the top of slips from one which jumped. But to keep that really positive, attitude to the game tomorrow, and to make good decisions, constantly make good decisions, because that's where somebody like Joe, like first innings, it was a poor shot, and we played some poor shots first innings, pushing at balls which you don't need to push at. They're aware of it and they kick themselves when they come in, but that is the game. You have to make those decisions and get them right on the pitch.
And Chris Stocks to finish. Thank you.
Hi, Thorpe. Just wondered how close was Sam Billings to jumping on his flight to London yesterday before you guys got in touch with him?
Yeah, close. Simple as that. Very close. Yeah. I don't know the exact timing of it, Chris, to be honest, but about 90 minutes. Yeah. So, it was obviously how the situation unfolded yesterday. It was, it was required. Like I said earlier, I was impressed with the way Ollie Pope actually stood in today. So who knows where we're at the end of this game and the options which we've got available to us.
Cool. Thank you, mate.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys.
Catch you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Cheers.